Welcome back. If you're not getting rejected, then you're not trying. Quick question. When was the last time you got rejected? And I'm not talking on a dating app, but in real life. If you can't remember, then that's probably not confidence, that's probably avoidance. And I get it, most men are taught directly or indirectly to avoid rejection at all cost. Getting rejected is horrible. It's this humiliation process. It's a message that's being pushed online. Women are horrible. You come off as a creep. If you say hi, you get shut down incredibly harsh, and so on. It's like getting turned down means you failed, or, you embarrassed yourself, or proved something negative about who you are as a person, which is all a bunch of nonsense. So instead of acting, a lot of guys just wait. We wait for the big nothing to happen. And that is exactly what happens. Nothing. They wait for perfect timing, perfect signals, or situations where a yes feels almost guaranteed. And the problem with that is really simple. If you're always waiting for safety, always waiting for security, then you're not really participating in dating. It's part of the process. You're going to get shut down. And that's why I like thinking about rejection differently. I think of it as earning badges. Because if you're getting turned down once in a while, that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something right. It usually means you're actually showing up and doing something about it. And here's a fun fact: dating is a numbers game. Eventually, you'll get a yes, but you have to keep trying, you have to keep going, and it is important to not make a big deal out of getting rejected. So instead, make it fun and treat it as a game where you earn badges every time you get rejected. Every man you've ever met who seems calm and grounded and confident around women has been rejected plenty of times. I mean, I've been rejected so many times I don't even know where to start. I don't think I can even count that far. It's ridiculous, but it's part of the game. And those guys, those guys who are doing extremely well with women, they've been shut down plenty of times. Not once or twice, but over and over and over again. And the difference is that they didn't treat those moments like failures. Well, maybe they did in the beginning, sure. We all do. But eventually they treated them like part of the process, like reps, putting in the reps like in the gym. There is no badge for staying comfortable. When you start seeing rejection as a badge of honor and, some XP, some experience, its meaning changes completely. A badge isn't something you get for winning, it's something you get for stepping forward. You know, it means you acted without knowing the outcome. It means you chose discomfort over avoidance. You're becoming a little bit of your own hero, really. And every time you can pin on a badge when you get rejected. It's kind of fun. And most men never earn a single badge, which is really sad because they never put themselves in a position where rejection is even possible. And think about this. Think about a very ordinary situation. You see a woman and you find her attractive. Nothing dramatic, no movie moment, just normal everyday stuff, normal opportunity. Your mind immediately starts negotiating with you. We all do. You tell yourself she's probably busy or taken or not interested. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. And on the surface, that, no, well, it feels reasonable, sure. But you don't do anything. And that means you avoided discomfort. But what you actually did was chose inaction, and there's no badge there. There's nothing to be gained from it. Just relief in the moment, and I guarantee you a lot of frustration later on that you didn't take the action. You will always be wondering, what if I talked to her? What if I did this or that? You stack a lot of those frustration moments on top of each other, and, dating becomes a problem. Now compare that to actually saying something. Maybe she isn't interested. Maybe she politely shuts you down. Sure, it's awkward in the first few seconds, and then it's over. That's that. You walk away exactly the same person you were before. Except now you've earned something. You prove to yourself that you can act without knowing the, you know, what the outcome is going to be. You know, you act without having a guarantee of success. You earn some experience, and the next time will be a little bit better, and the next time will be a little bit better, and so on and so on. It stacks. No action means no badge. That's why rejection builds confidence instead of destroying it. Each time you go through it, your nervous system learns that it is survivable. Nothing terrible happens when you get rejected, and slowly the fear will lose grip. Avoidance feels smart in the moment. Sure, I get it. I get it, absolutely. But it will be expensive later on. Once that fear loosens, dating starts to feel lighter. It feels different, less loaded. You're not, well, you're no longer clinging to the outcomes or trying to protect yourself from every possible result. You're just present. You're talking to women, you're seeing what happens. If something happens, fine. If it doesn't, fine. Ironically, here, that's usually when things start going better. I promise you it will. And I'm gonna say this, a little bit blunt, but you have to start giving less of a fuck about the outcome, about getting rejected, and so on. Take some fun in it. Take some pride and fun in getting rejected. And, like I said, ironically, things will get better when you care less. And not because you're trying harder, but because you're not clinging anymore. That's why it goes better. Avoiding rejection does the opposite, really. When you protect yourself too much, everything becomes high stakes, which is ridiculous because why would it be high stakes? Every interaction feels important, every text feels loaded, and the pressure leaks out, whether you realize it or not. Every text you send, it's you're typing the text, you're deleting it, typing it over and over again. That that's part of dating not being fun. Every time you want to speak to a woman or talk to a woman, you don't know what to say. Should I say hello? Should I say hi? Dating becomes paralyzing, really. And yeah, rejection removes that pressure eventually. It teaches you emotional resilience. It teaches you that a no is not a verdict of your worth. It's just information you can accept. Well, not can, you should accept and move on from it without spiraling out of control and, feeling resentful and bitter. Confidence isn't built from affirmations, it's built from evidence. So yeah, I get it, getting turned down sucks, but you should get turned down. Let it happen. Wear it. Own it. Every time you step forward instead of hiding, that counts. That's another badge you earned. And the man who's earned a few badges is always ahead of the man who never tried at all. I'll leave you with that. I hope this was helpful for you, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye bye.